One of the most important things to do is to find value late in your fantasy football drafts. That's what we're talking about today because there's some wide receivers coming up this year that could have huge value in the later rounds. What is going on, Headliner Nation? Welcome back. Next episode of Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. Today we're talking wide receivers. Some wide receivers that could have absolutely crazy value come draft day here in the 2019 season. Yes, it's early. It's March, but we all love fantasy football and we have to find something to talk about. So let's give it a shot here. Today we're going to be using fantasyfootballcalculator.com. If you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you go down there. There's a link in the description. Check it out. Tons and tons of preseason information, ADPs, mock drafts, all kinds of things you can do there. Like I said, the link will be down in the description. I pulled the information off of that website, and that's what we're going to be using today. As you can see, I got the names listed right there on the side so you can see what's coming up. Try and get out as much content as I possibly can for you guys. If you appreciate it, do me a favor, hit that like button. It really helps us out here on YouTube. Now, before we waste any more time, let's get into some players. All right, first up, Mike Williams, Los Angeles Chargers. This guy is primed for a third-year breakout, even though technically it's like his second year playing since he didn't play much his rookie season. Had a decent 2018, though, didn't rack up a ton of yardage and receptions, however, did have 10 touchdowns. Now, Hunter Henry comes back this year, which will take away some of those looks. However, they're also going to be losing Tyrell Williams, who's a free agent, likely to be shipped out somewhere else. That'll open up about another 60 targets or so that need to go somewhere. Mike Williams is definitely somebody who could see 100-plus targets this year in an offense that's one of the most high-powered passing offenses in all of football. Phillip Rivers is almost consistently at the top of the list whenever you look at pass attempts, yardage, touchdowns. He's one of the most consistent producers from the quarterback position, and he really started to build chemistry with Mike Williams last season, especially in the red zone. I'm looking for a big year from Mike Williams, and right now, his current ADP, 85, an 8th round pick for your fantasy football team that could provide huge value here coming up. All right, now we get to some real value. Everybody else on the list has an ADP over 100. Next up, Captain Christian Kirk of the Arizona Cardinals. And he's somebody who I'm really excited to own in 2019. And it's kind of hard to remember, right? He was one of the top college producers from the wide receiver position coming out of the draft last year. And then he fell into an offense which is absolutely boring in Arizona. I mean, I believe there's more 4-and-outs than first downs. They ran some of the least offensive plays per game out of any team in the NFL. They were horrible. It was hard to watch. I was born and raised in Arizona. Grew up a Cardinals fan. Still a Cardinals fan. It was tough to watch last year. But now, insert Cliff Kingsbury in his air raid offense. Something that really likes to, spread the field, 4 wide, run and gun, try to, play up tempo. We don't know whether it's going to be Rosen, Kyler Murray, what's going to happen with that situation. But really, it doesn't really matter too much. The rapport that Christian Kirk had with Josh Rosen was noticeable last year. So even if Rosen does stay and they open up this offense more, it's going to open more opportunities for Christian Kirk. Yes, Larry Fitzgerald's still old and he's still playing in Arizona, but he's really not the field stretcher that he used to be, right? No, he's not. He's more of the safe, the first down, move the chains, red zone target. That's what Larry Fitzgerald's going to be in this offense. Christian Kirk has a real possibility to become a fringe top 20 wide receiver this year. The volume should be there. The high-powered offense should be there. The amount of offensive plays run in Arizona should be greatly improved, and that only helps the value of one Christian Kirk. He's definitely somebody I'm looking forward to drafting this year, and at an ADP of 100, sign me up all day for some Christian Kirk. I'm really excited about Christian Kirk, but this next guy on the list may have him beat slightly. I will own all kinds of shares of James Washington of the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, whose current ADP, 127. He will be assuming the new Juju role. With AB out of town, Juju's going to slide to that #1 spot, along with the top defensive attention. They'll still have James Conner in the backfield. This is one of the highest powered passing offenses in the league. We know they're going to throw the ball. And James Washington is not just some nobody that they picked up off of a free agent wire somewhere. They spent a second-round pick on him. He was one of the top wide receivers in college coming out of the draft last year. Didn't really get much of an opportunity because AB and Juju stoked up almost every target possible last season. Now, with all that defensive attention shifting towards Juju possibly, that's going to leave a lot more one-on-one man coverage for James Washington. What does James Washington excel at more than anything? It's beating man coverage. And he's somebody who just stretches the field. He can kind of fill the Antonio Brown role from the number 2 spot, right? He averaged over 20 yards per reception over his 4 seasons at Oklahoma State. And now we already know there's a huge number of targets available in this offense. Both Juju and AB, they were both in the top 5 as far as targets. So it's not like all these added targets are going to go to Juju now. He already saw a huge volume. They have to go somewhere. Where do they go? Insert James Washington, somebody with an ADP of 127 that I will be all over this year. Next up on the list is going to be Dante Pettis, and he's right behind James Washington with an ADP of 128. And right now, in my opinion, he's the number 1 wide receiving option for the San Francisco 49ers. Yes, I know George Kittle is still there at the tight end position, but as far as wide receivers go, I think it's Dante Pettis is, his group there right now. There's nobody else there outside of Marquise Goodwin, who's had health concerns the past couple years, to really challenge him for that number 1 spot. Now, it's still early. It's March. Do they add somebody through free agency? Do they take somebody in the draft to give him another playmaker? Entirely possible. But this is a Kyle Shanahan-led offense, a high-powered, exciting offense to watch that made the likes of Raheem Mostert and Nick Mullins fantasy relevant there for a few weeks. Now they get back Jimmy G. They get back Jerick McKinnon. May not be some big, sexy names on this team, but there's definitely going to be some exciting fireworks at times, and Dante Pettis totally fits that mold. Ended 2018 with 4 touchdowns in his last 6 games. Definitely started to find his rhythm towards the end of the season. He's somebody who's involved in special teams. Like I said, the lack of other options there, he's going to see a lot of volume. You want volume in fantasy football. You're going to get it, and you're going to get it at an ADP of 128. I like some Dante Pettis in 2019. Lastly, we got Robert Foster of the Buffalo Bills, but we don't call him Robert Foster over here on this channel. He's Bob Foster to us because it just sounds cooler. And right now, his ADP is 155 overall. And I get it. He plays for Buffalo. He's got a quarterback of Josh Allen. I get it. But the guy had a decent 2018. I think he turned a lot of heads, surprised a lot of people. Now, Antonio Brown was a Buffalo Bill for all of 3 hours, which really I think would have benefited Robert Foster. All the defensive attention would have been on Antonio Brown. Bob Foster would have went crazy this year. However, he now goes back to more than likely the top receiving option in the Buffalo Bills offense, which I understand is not high-powered whatsoever. However, from week 10 on last season, 2018, he had just over 500 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, he gets another offseason with Josh Allen. Josh Allen has another offseason to grow and improve his passing game. They have another year in this offense in Buffalo. Is he going to go out there and be a wide receiver 1 for you? Probably not. Is he going to be a decent wide receiver 3 with upside on weeks, bye-week fill-ins, injury replacements? Abso-freaking-lutely. And with an ADP of 155, I like some Bob Foster this year. All right, those are 5 names we really need to pay attention to here in the later rounds. Kind of like I mentioned earlier, I'm a big running back guy. I like to take running backs early. If you can get yourself 2 solid running backs and then fill in your wide receiving group with names like this later on in the draft to kind of give you that added depth, that huge upside, I'm all for it. You really have that opportunity this year, and it's exciting to see where these ADPs will go over the next few months. If there's other wide receivers out there I didn't cover, there's more I could have added, but I'm trying to keep the video short here. Put them down in the comment section below. I'd love to interact with you guys, let you know my thoughts on some of these other guys that have ADPs that are crazy late. I'll be doing one of these episodes for other positions, so don't worry. Those will be coming out soon. Greatly appreciate the support. Make sure you're hitting that like button for me. Also, click and subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you are new, put a comment down below. I'd like to welcome you to Headliner Nation personally. Looking forward to talking to you guys. Looking forward to the interaction. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your week. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.